Father, please help us. Please help us to be safe.
80 acres is not really big, but the amount of damage that's contained in this 80 acres is pretty devastating.
This was home to many seniors and low-income residents. Recovery will be hard.
While the damage is extensive and devastating, we also feel like it could have been a lot worse.
So many people who lost everything. My aunt and my cousin now have nothing.
We started hearing the explosions one after another, and that's when I got the kids out of there, and I haven't been able to go back in.
Here shows the fires in Lake County in the past 2 decades. It can be seen that scattered fire occurs in the surrounding area of Lake County. However, over time we noticed that Valley Fire and Rocky Fire in 2015. Recently, the trends of fire have soared. In 2018, the Mendocino Campground Fire burned down large areas. In 2021, a catch fire occurred just a few months ago.
Fire intensity and recurrence increases every year, and the most vulnerable are suffering with this phenomenon. Socially vulnerable people that live in fire-prone areas suffer more fire damage. Because of the fires, the land loses its value and attracts even more socially vulnerable people, creating a vicious circle.
Lake County is located in the north-central portion of California. We use the following indicators to assess the social vulnerability of various places. They are median household income, population, median age, poverty rate, presence of minority groups, and home ownership. The shade of the color represents a comprehensive assessment of the social vulnerability index of a special area. We found that Clear Lake City has the most serious fire social vulnerability risk. 33% of the population lives below the poverty line, 23% of the population is disabled, and 50% do not own a house.
In Clear Lake, 21% of the households are female-led, 18% are of elderly people over 65 living on their own, and 43% of all the houses are 2 bedrooms. According to the survey that was sent to residents of Clear Lake, 57% of those who answered are single, divorced, or widowed, 57% of them feel like they need socialization, and 64% want affordable housing. By neutralizing the socially vulnerable component of the vicious circle, it will have a compounding positive influence on the extent of fire damage and land value, turning it into a virtuous circle. Through fostering a codependent relationship between senior citizens and female householders, the strategy aims to minimize social isolation and instead encourage the formation of communal ties and non-family support systems for day-to-day activities as well as fire response. The site chosen for the master plan was picked considering the land use zoning, the fire risk, and the wind direction. According to the zoning of Clear Lake, the site is supposed to be an expansion for housing. In order to plan the expansion, it was considered that the city requires the development of 1,280 housing units in the next 20 years.
The master plan is derived by mimicking the meandering Cache Creek. Duplex co-living units allow for social interaction at multiple levels. A separate guesthouse block overlooks the creek. Indoor communal hubs housing functions like dining, art studios, daycare centers, etc. form the links between the residential belts. Higher up, commercial establishments such as pharmacies and grocery stores are planned. The large landscape podiums are multi-utilitarian, serving as spaces for events, gardening, outdoor cinemas, etc., as well as safe zones during a fire. The creekside provides an opportunity to develop an attractive waterfront with public parks, playgrounds, fishing decks, and bike lanes. Here we see how the green buffer zones are designed to adapt to various scenarios.
Our master plan reduces social vulnerability by providing affordable housing alternatives of greater social value. It provides a source of income for our residents through the multifunctional buffer zones, creates recreational spaces for social interaction and entertainment, and also functions as a toolkit for small town expansion.